Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to do a DIY Dollar Tree Farmhouse Picket fence wreath, and my inspiration was this one that I found on Pinterest that was from an Etsy shop for $86. Now, normally I make a craft because I'm teaching you something, but I actually wanted this one. We're going to use this green wreath form from the Dollar Tree. Now, this is my only non-Dollar Tree product. This is leftover burlap I had from Walmart, which is 5.5 inches. I used some of the black chevron as well as some of the white polka dots. I used the white lace wire edge burlap ribbon and the plain wire edge burlap ribbon for wrapping the wreath, and the white was for the bow. And if you joined us yesterday, you saw how we made the picket fence with the rooster on it already. I will link that video in the description box down below. But what we're going to do here is we're going to make this wreath. Now, there are lots of ways to make wreaths on the internet. And as you guys have been with me for a while, or if you guys have been with me for a while, you've seen that we've recently learned from Amber at Southern Girl Can how to make the rolled twisty wreaths. I forget what she calls them. But we made one for autumn, which I can also link in the description box down below, where when you basically take mesh and you roll it up and make like these little cigar things. You hold 3 cigars in your finger, add 2 pieces of ribbon to it, and wrap it with a piece of pipe cleaner. Well, we're going to take the things that we've learned there, and we're going to just switch them up a bit. So I'm going to show you a couple of different things. Now, I didn't want this on a 14-inch wreath form. First of all, I thought it was way too big for my space. And the 8-inch wreath form that they have now was way too small. So I was trying to figure out how I could do this on the green 9.5-inch wreath form, which would have been the perfect size. And I feel like I've come up with the perfect solution. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to cut our strips. If you've been around a while, you know I kind of show everything that I can. The way I've cut these strips into squares is I haven't measured. I've just taken the edge of the ribbon, folded it in on a diagonal, and that's how you can kind of get a rough square. And then I've cut 24, 26. I got 26. Well, okay. Hi, how you doing? I cut everything that I had left over from these 2 rolls of burlap. That's the thing. The white burlap I have left over from the candy canes, and the beige, the natural colored burlap I had left over from the banners that I've done 100 banners on my channel. So I wanted to use those because normally Dollar Tree mesh is like around 6 inches wide, and Dollar Tree burlap is only 2.5 to 3 inches wide. So I wanted it to be long like the mesh when I did the roll and the bow tie things. So that's why I decided to go with this. This burlap is the natural color is 30 feet, which is 10 yards that you can get at Walmart for $3.47, which actually it ends up being cheaper per yard than even the Dollar Tree burlap. And plus the fact that it's 5.5 inches, it's actually a much better bargain than you can get at the Dollar Tree. And it's finished on the top and bottom. The white is also finished, is also the same width, 5.5 inches. However, you don't get quite as much because it's painted, but you also get it for $3.47. This is what I had left over from my projects. What we're going to do is on this 9.5-inch wreath, we're going to make 12 bundles. Okay, so bear with me about the bundles. I'm going to show you 2 different bundles, and I'm going to show them to you in real time. Actually, I do speed them up a tiny bit because I went really slow when I was demonstrating it, and when I play it back, it's like really slow. But I'm going to show you 2 different bundles. One bundle is going to have 3 rolled pieces of big burlap, and then 2 pieces of ribbon, and then the other one is going to have 2 sort of made into a bow tie, 1 rolled, and 2 pieces of ribbon. So what I mean by pieces of ribbon is I've taken the natural burlap with the wire edge, and as well as the chevron and the one with the polka dots, and I've cut them all into 5.5, roughly 5 to 5.5 inch pieces, and then I've put dovetails in the ends of both ends of each one. And this is just what makes it really pretty It just makes a really pretty wreath. And I don't know who taught Amber how to make these, but she just makes some of the most gorgeous wreaths. And I finally was so happy to find her channel where I was able to create something. I have the confidence, and she made it so easy. The way that she did, the way she taught it, she'd made it so easy for us. Now, one of the things that we're going to use sort of temporarily is we're going to use the 12 pipe cleaners, because like I said, we're making 12 bundles, but we're going to actually end up switching the pipe cleaners to jute. Now, if you have some way to hold your bundle together while you tie your jute, go straight to the jute. If you have help or a bow dazzler or some way to, like I said, to keep your bundle together while you're tying it, go straight to tying it with jute. Otherwise, because we have sort of limitations, I sort of am battling arthritis. I've made the bundles in the pipe cleaners first because it's super easy that way. And pipe cleaners are super inexpensive. Plus, I didn't cut them when I go to put the jute on, so I was able to untwist them and I can use them for another project. So what we're going to do, and I'll show you, like I said, we're coming up here for me to slow down on it a bit, is I've set up my stuff to organize. Like basically I've set my whites, my beiges, my flat beiges, and my ribbons. So what you want to do, I'll show you, this is a double rolled one. What you're going to do is you're going to take a big piece of natural burlap and you're going to roll it like a cigar. You're going to take 2 of those, and I'm pinching them between my first and second finger. Those that happen to be the strongest ones on my left hand. Then I'm going to take a white roll and I'm going to kind of make a triangle, and I'm going to put it on top of that but between them, and also pinch it. Then I'm going to take the wide piece of ribbon, put that down first, and then I'm going to take the skinnier piece of ribbon and put that down second. Now this wire edged burlap, especially the ones with the chevron, sort of have like a stiffness to them, so I pinch them first, which will help when I go to twist the pipe cleaner on. I put the pipe cleaner in a U right over my finger, and then I twist it closed. And I made all of the bundles in pipe cleaner before I went straight on to jute. But like I said a few minutes ago, if you have the abilities to go straight to jute, you can skip that step, okay? But I'm going to show it here for you guys because we often do crafts for people with limitations. And this is just one way for you to see how to do it. And if you want to jump ahead to, I think it's like probably like 2 minutes of watching me do stuff, you can. But if you want to listen to me tell you what I've learned, you can do that as well. Here is the other method really quick, is I'm scrunching the middles up like a bow tie. And I'm doing 2, the natural ones, in like a bow tie, and I'm laying them on top of each other. And then I've taken the one white one and I've left it in a curl. And then I've stacked the wide ribbon, and you can see I pinched the middle of the wide ribbon there, and then the black ribbon or the polka dot ribbon, depending on which bundle you're making. And what I did was I did 3 of each type, because there's going to be 6 black chevron, 6 white polka dots. So I did 3 with the black chevron with the 3 rolled ones and 3 bow tie ones. And then I did the same with the white polka dots, 3 all rolled ones and 3 polka dotted ones. Okay. Now you can mix it up. If you are like design, you want to leave out the white, you want to just use beige. If you saw the sample, she had ribbon that was really, really pretty, natural and black gingham. If you could find ribbon like that, that'd be great. This is just what they have at the Dollar Tree. And other than the burlap that I bought at Walmart, that actually I had left over, everything else is from the Dollar Tree. Even the chicken on the picket fence that we made yesterday's video, which hangs in the center, all those products are bought at the Dollar Tree. Okay? I even use Dollar Tree hot glue. But you're just going to continue to make bundles. So trying to think. Oh yeah, I said in the beginning that you only need 1 roll of the wire edge natural. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. You need 2, because we're going to use 1 to wrap around the green wreath form. And that's going to actually do 2 things. It's not only going to make it look pretty between the bundles and behind the back and everything. But it's what actually going to do is going to hold the jute in place. I did test this by tying the jute directly onto the green foam, and all of my bundles wanted to sink with gravity. They just want to spin around the green wreath form. So to combat that, we wrapped it in jute. We wrapped it in a burlap ribbon first. Okay? And here I am just about finishing up. Now I did run out of white, so I cut more beige. But basically what you need 36 pieces of burlap at 5.5 inches by 5.5 inches. And then you need 12 pieces of a wider natural edged wire ribbon. I'm sorry, not natural edge, a wire edge, natural colored wire edged ribbon. And then you're going to need 12 pieces of the skinnier ribbon, or 6 and 6 is what we did. Okay, so now I'm just showing you like I said, I told you, I tied it on there and I wanted to show you how I tested it, and it didn't hang on there. And then I figured go ahead and show you how we're going to go ahead and tie each one of these with jute. Now here's my immense apologies come with the fact that my jute photograph, like when I filmed it, I was holding it too close to my body and it was off camera. But what I did was I made 12 pieces of jute at about 18 inches long. And I know you might be thinking to yourself, why so long? And I really think that they were closer to 12 inches, but I would just test one then, because we're actually going to add more burlap at the end, and we're going to use the existing string. But after we tie on the bundles, we're going to use that string again to tie on an extra piece of jute, burlap at the end. So hang on, you'll see that. All right. But basically all I'm doing now is I'm replacing all of my wire, all of my pipe cleaners with jute. And I've tied them just in knots. And I really do appreciate this step with my limitations. I think if I had the patience, I could just use one pipe cleaner, twist it on a pipe cleaner, tie the jute on, and then untwist the pipe, and just keep using one pipe cleaner. But I don't have patience like that. So I was like, I need to make them all with pipe cleaners, and I need to change the pipe cleaners all to jute. But you guys do what works for you. And like I said, if you have the abilities or the tools, go ahead and go straight to the jute. It's really much better. And it's really funny that I had bought some natural colored pipe cleaners last year from Holler, and I cannot find them to save my life. I've checked all of my stores, so I have no idea where they are. I might have given them away in a giveaway. That'd be funny if I did that. I mean, not funny, but like ironic. Okay, so if you've never wrapped a wreath in burlap before, you want to start it at a tiny bit of an angle. You want to add some hot glue. I always like to start in the center, and then I'm just going to wrap, and you want to overlap the edge so that you don't have any green showing through. This wrapping this took almost one whole roll of burlap ribbon. Okay. I happen to have 2 half rolls, so that's what you're seeing here. But that's what it ended up doing for me. Okay. And then when you get to the very end, you want to also finish it off with some hot glue. My trick for this is I put the hot glue down before I cut the ribbon, and then I pull the whole length of the ribbon down until it's cooled off before I cut it. So this way I can actually use the excess ribbon so I don't burn my fingers, or don't, there's lots of tools out there for not burning your fingers, but that's just my trick right there. Okay. And now I'm going to tie on one. I'm going to start with a white one. It doesn't make a difference to me what you start with, but I've got 6 and 6, so I'm going to alternate every other one. And I'm going to start with a white one, and then I'm going to draw a clock. Now, since there's 12 of them, that's where I got my idea to draw a clock. What you want to do is you want to mark the 4 points, the 1, the 6, the 3, and the 9, and then divide each section into the 1s and the 2s and the 4s and the 5s. And the reason I'm doing this, I just make it easier for me to space them out. Like I said, they don't slide very well on the burlap, which is good for us, but if you don't tie it directly where you want it, it's a little bit difficult to move it after the fact. Okay, so if you do all 12, you mark it like a clock, you know exactly where each one is going to go. Okay? Now, if you end up making like a variety. Like I had ones with the bow shape and ones with the curly ones. You want to make sure that you alternate those as well in the pattern, or you can just make them totally random. The only thing that I wanted to make sure was a pattern was the black and white, alternating the black and white ribbons. Okay? The rest of it I just left up to however I felt like grabbing it off the pile. Now you want to make sure that this is nice and even, the strings that are left over, as you can see. Just tying them onto the back. All right. And like I said, the reason we're doing that is because we're going to add another piece of burlap. The inside of the circle, the bundles are real close to each other, but the outside edges of the circle, they're a little spread out. So what I've decided to do is take a roll of this natural edge burlap. I cut 9 inches from basically long point to long point. Actually, it's really more like 7 inches. And I cut them on a diagonal, okay? And I cut myself 12 pieces of them. So you want to make sure that it's not longer than 9 inches, because this is 9 feet, which is basically if you need 12 of them, you need them to be 9 inches long. And like I said, I've cut them on the diagonal first and then second. And every time you cut your bottom of your diagonal, it's the top of the next one, which is fine. And then I use the one to measure the rest. Okay? And like I said, the reason we're doing this is we're just going to add some of natural edge burlap to the tops between the spaces of all of the bundles. And it might sound complicated, but it really is very simple. So when we're ready, we're going to turn it over so we can access all of our string. Okay, and we'll start with any one bundle. We'll take 2 of the strings. We'll find the longest one, the way you tie a knot. One might be longer. We're going to feed that into the inside of the wreath and around to the back of the wreath. So at the very top edge of the wreath is where we're going to tie on this piece that we just cut. And we're just going to pinch the middle of the piece, just like we've done with lots of different DIYs before. You're just going to lay the piece out, grab the actual middle like a bow tie, and squeeze it in. And that's what you're going to tie the strings around. And once you have the strings tied around it in a knot, then you want to cut off the extra string. Now, once that's done, you can go move your wreath around and move your ribbons around and fluff up your space or wherever you want it to look. Okay? So if you bear with me for a second, we're going to do one more real quick and then I'll show you nice and slow. All right, so once again, you're going to take the 2 strings. You're going to find the longest one and you're going to feed it on the inside of the wreath to pull underneath to the outside. And then you're going to take your 1 piece of burlap that we just cut. You're going to pinch it in the middle to create sort of like a bow. And then you're going to tie the string around that pinched area and tie a knot. And once you have a knot tied, you can go ahead and cut off any excess string and then work it around. And you're going to do this with all 12. This whole project took me just not including the fence, but this whole project with filming took me a little over an hour. So it's great to put on a movie or sit in front of a TV show and do it, because it's very repetitive. So you can do that, and that's including putting on the bow. And the bow, of course, is optional. I always tell you guys about a bow is optional, right? We've made lots of bows before. I have a bow tutorial. It was actually like my 3rd or 4th video that I ever did on my channel, was to teach you guys a really simple way to make bows with wire edged or plain ribbon. Not just tying like shoelaces, but actual bows. So now that I have all of the pieces done and I'm fluffing it all up, and you can open up some of your twisties, some of your like little cigars, you can open them up, you can fluff them up, lay your ribbons flat. But what I'm doing now is I'm just taking a piece of jute, I'm tying a loop in one end, and I just want to give it some substance to hold, for the glue to hold on to, so I've doubled it up. And I've left the ends really, really long so that I can tie it onto around the wreath. And I figure out where I want it positioned, work my jute between 2 bundles, and then make sure you don't pull it too tight that it moves the position of the fence. So Just tie it as much as you want the position of the fence. And then I actually had so much string left over, I just tied a loop in it, and that's where I'm hanging it by. And then just fluff it and figure out how you want it and lay it down. There's lots of other ways to attach ornaments to to wreaths, but this is just one that I picked. I basically glued a piece of long jute on it and I tied it around the top of it. So now we're going to make a bow, and this is a very simple bow. I actually didn't teach you guys exactly how to make this kind before, but I'm just taking 3 pieces of wire edge ribbon that are all the same length, and I'm making 3 loops that are all the same length. So you want to just fold the middles over each other in the middle, or fold the ends over each other in the middle on the back, and then you stack them, and then we make our famous M. Now if you've been here for a while, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not, you basically take your thumb, index finger, and ring finger and you make an M in the bow. You basically fold it up and down and up and down. And then we're going to take the long piece that's left over for the tails, however long you want your tails to be, and we're going to tie that knot around the middle of where we made the M. You can fold your bow in half before you make your knot really tight to make sure that your knot is in the middle. It's nice and even, and adjust accordingly. Then make it really, really super tight. And then you can go ahead and fluff out your bows however you want it. And this one is supposed to be like a 6-loop bow that you'd get like a regular florist, I guess. We've fed a little piece of pipe cleaner underneath the knot, and that's how we're attaching it to the wreath. And again, bow is optional. Placement of the bow is optional. I just was trying to make this one. I really liked the inspiration piece, and that's really what I was going for, that look. So, and that, my friends, as they say, is that. So I really do hope you liked this tutorial. It's just another twist on, get it? On a burlap wreath from Dollar Tree Supplies and Walmart Supplies. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments down below. Share with friends and family. Anybody you know who's interested in making anything farmhouse. And like I said, the inspiration had a pig or a cow. So you could just do the same thing with the burlap. You can cut out whatever shape animal you want. Okay? If you haven't yet, click subscribe. When you do, a little bell will pop up. When you ring that bell, YouTube will let you know whenever I upload a new video. And as always, you take care. God bless. And we'll see you next time. Bye.